Hi. Today I'm going to just share with you how we plan our own itinerary and book our own hotels, flight, etc. For our New Zealand trip. So basically, what I always do is to first go onto Google and maybe search for under Klook, this and that, vlogs to see an estimate of how long the road trip will take. Especially now with a toddler, so I tend to search for toddler itinerary. Then for example, these are a few that I'll open in a tab, and then these are the few that you can just scroll through, read through, then have a rough idea of where you want to go, and then how long are this road trip usually for. And from what I have read so far, I think the comfortable period would be it's doable from Christchurch to Queenstown within 8 days comfortably. But with a toddler, I give buffer, so we tend to we instead of 8 days, we spread it out over 11 to 12 days, because sometimes it can be very tired just handling a toddler alone. So these are some of the itinerary. This Shamara Alpaca place is where we have been to. And then these are some of the places that we can go to. So they recommend you where to stay also and what to do. So after I have done all these initial search, that's when I roughly know I want to go for about maybe 11 days, and then I'll start to go on to SQ or like any other flight website to book my tickets. So then I will select the date that I want to go in, then maybe count about how many days, say 11 days, and so I'll be back on the 17th. This is just an example. So then we go ahead and book the ticket. So when it comes to this selection of flight, timing is also very important. It's better that you choose a flight overnight red-eye flight, because then your child can still sleep over on the plane, especially when this is a 10 to 11 hours flight, so he will wake up fresh in the morning. Likewise, maybe you and your husband can also try and get some sleep. Then that's when you can still continue your day. Moving on to this, after you have booked your flight and you kind of roughly know the number of days you're going to spend in different parts, say Christchurch maybe 2 days, Lake Tekapo maybe 2 nights, this kind of thing, then in order for you to also decide how many nights to stay at a certain place, I think it's good to go and do a self-research. You can go and research at, for example, Klook, what's there to do in Christchurch, this alpaca tour. So you can also get, this is the one that we went, you can also get it from Klook. And then this is the punting gondola and everything. We didn't get it over on the website because we weren't sure how our itinerary will work, so you can also get it on the spot there. Then after that, you can also search for places like Lake Tekapo, what are the things to do there, what are the things you want to see, and then you plan out a timeline to see if is doable within 2 to 3 days. Okay, next up, what I normally do is, for example, here now I have planned out my itinerary, right? So 12 days in New Zealand. Technically speaking, it's only 11 days because I'm flying on the 5th, which is about 7:50 p.m. and I only arrive on the 6th, correct? So 6 to 17 is technically about 11 full days, or maybe even 10, because 17 we are actually flying off early in the morning. So then from here, you just have to plan, okay? Write it down. What I'll usually do is I'll put it into Excel. I'll write it down first, then I'll put it into Excel just to be a bit more sure about where I'm going. So say my flight is at 7:50 p.m. on the 5th, I'll arrive on the 6th at this timing. So that night on the 6th, I'll be spending my day, the night in Christchurch. And I would recommend to at least spend the first 2 nights in Christchurch, just so that you can get over the jet lag, get over that handling a toddler on a plane for 11 hours is no easy feat. So then after that, okay, maybe the first 2 nights I'm staying at Christchurch, then you can start to look for hotels first 2 nights in Christchurch. Then moving on to maybe Lake Tekapo, right? That's how we're going to drive down. Then it's also going to be another, say, 2 nights. I mean, for me, I choose to take it easy at the start of the trip because I don't want to burn myself out too fast, especially when the trip is going to be at least 10 to 11 days long. So, okay, now that I have already kind of roughly have an idea of where and how many nights I'm going to stay at certain parts of New Zealand, that's when I move on to maybe hotels.com. This is the website that I like to use to book my tickets, hotel stay, because every 10 night it gets me 1 free night. Of course, my booking wouldn't be just relying on hotels.com. There are a few places, a few nights where, if you have seen my video, I was actually staying Airbnb, because those makes more sense. It's cheaper and it's bigger, cleaner actually. So same thing for hotels. I tend to open a few tabs, because then there's also some tips in booking a hotel, because with a toddler and also with maybe 4 luggages, I think it's better to be more picky on your hotels, because you want the room to be big enough to be able to open almost all your luggages. So the Mayfair is actually the one that we stayed, Mayfair King. We stay here because it's near the Botanic Garden, and because we only have 2 nights there, I kind of want to see most of the stuff also. And Botanic Garden is the middle of like Christchurch. I think it's where most of the activities are around, are centered around. So we booked there so that we can minimize traveling. After all the hotel booking, it's to car rental, right? So I mean, you can do it either ways first. Since you already know like how many days you're going to spend there, you can actually just book the car first. But car rental was one of my last booking. So yep, so we just go through. So for this trip, I actually booked my car via rental cars, and then so you just have to key in the details when you're arriving, and I suggest that you collect your car at the international airport, because it just saves you a lot more time. So when you key in the dates already, that's when you come to selection of cars. So what you can do is it's better to book a bigger car, because we are traveling with luggages. So don't forget that even though it's just 2 adults and 1 toddler, that makes it 3 person, right? But you still have your luggages, and for us we brought 3 luggages with 1 big hand carry, so that's as good as 4, just in case, you know, like your boot can't squeeze in everything. So we actually booked an SUV, the RAV4 Toyota, and most importantly, you have to add a child seat, because this is going to be 11 days of road trip.